So as the title of this video suggests, I made a huge mistake with my string of hearts here this summer. And when I first picked this up, the leaves weren't even like over the lip of the edge. It's grown so much, it's actually reaching to the floor right now. I'm 5'10", so it's however tall that is. But because of where I have it in an area that probably gets the most amount of light in the basement that I live in. But because that area isn't sort of incredibly bright, it was a little leggy. There was a lot of space between the leaves and it was really bald on top. And I wanted to change that. There's this plant tuber called Crazy Plant Guy. He's pretty famous on YouTube. And he lives about an hour west of me in Toronto. And he has this plant and it's long and it's thick and it's bushy. And his string of hearts isn't bad either. But I wanted mine to be a little more like his because he's always sharing pictures of it on Instagram and showing it in his videos, and it's such a nice plant. And I knew that this could be that. It had the potential to be that. It just needed more light. So about a month ago, I put it and my string of turtles outside in the sun, in full sun, thinking that they would like that, you know, that they would get the full sun, that they would grow more on the top part and push out more leaves. But it didn't work out that way. And about a week into having them outside, this one dropped half of its leaves. It was traumatic, especially because this is one of my favorite plants in my collection. And now it is just a ratty looking mess. My string of turtles over here is actually doing a lot better compared to this guy right here. But they both need to be repotted and fixed up a little bit. There's a lot of dead vines and leaves that I have to move out of it and just spruce it up a little bit. With this plant, a lot of the leaves that fell off, they still had their petioles attached to them. So what I decided to do was collect up all those petioles and see if I could root them in sphagnum moss. I've never rooted string of hearts this way. I've always done it by like a stem cutting, but I thought I might as well try and see if I could double my crop of string of hearts, especially because I just killed half of my plant. So we'll take a look at those and we'll also repot this and fix it up, clean it up real nice, and hopefully save it. So we're gonna start by just cutting off a lot of the dead pieces and a lot of the dead vines, because like there's this one right here where, oh look at that, I didn't even have to cut it, it just came right off. So that's garbage. By cutting these as well, I'm hoping that it will promote new growth in the plant because it really needs it, as you can tell. So this part is going to be a bit tedious because I'm going to look at literally every vine and cut it off where the growth stops or where it has just died. So I'll speed this up. Honestly, I don't even know if I should just take it and cut it, which I think I might actually do. I can always propagate more. So just so you can see what I'm about to do, I'm basically just grabbing it and I'm gonna cut it. And man, that hurts. So I have all this left over, which I'm gonna propagate with. The rest of this I am going to take out of here, I'm gonna clean it up, and I'll put it back in either this same pot or a smaller pot. So I actually have all of the leaves with the little petioles in here. They're in sphagnum moss, so they should be rooting. I've never rooted string of hearts this way before, so let's just see how they're doing. They've rotted. There's one. So guess we're not getting any that way. Now obviously repotting string of hearts is a pretty difficult thing to do because you have all of these trailing vines that come off of it. And I wouldn't be repotting this if I hadn't damaged it so badly. So let's just dive into this and see what we can find. So one of the interesting things about string of hearts is kind of how they grow. So in their roots, they have these large tubulars, which are like these little potato-looking things right here. And that's the big part of their root. These things will also grow on the outside of the plant when they're trailing, and you can just snip them off where you see one and plant them right back into the the soil, and it'll grow a vine like this. Okay, so that's what we have left over. And I think I've just made a bigger mess than I had before. Okay, I guess let's sort this mess out. Okay, so unfortunately, because I made it a big, huge, tangled mess, I think I'm just gonna have to go in and cut them down even more, so it's gonna be pretty sad and pathetic once this is done. So for example, from being a big, long vine that was almost as tall as I am, I'm not gonna have that. I give up. I give up. I give up. Okay, I'm back. I can do this. Essentially, I'm just going to be starting this plant from absolute scratch with the few that I picked out. The rest of these, I'll go through, I'll cut them up, and I'll propagate them. But I don't have the patience for this, as you could probably tell. So I'm essentially just filling up the pot with potting soil and a little bit of perlite mixed in, just to give it some airiness so that the water will drain through. This was what it came in from the store, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's pretty gritty, so it'll allow the water to drain through it so it's not sitting in wet soil. I also put in just a little bit of orchid bark just to give it some more aeration to make the soil a little more airy, because I am running low on perlite. Now when I plant it, I'm just gonna take the roots and this big like root ball thing, and I'm gonna just shove it right into there. Okay, so now essentially what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be taking the leftovers and I'm going to be cutting them up to water propagate them in these. So we'll see how soon I tire of this process. Most days having plants is great. It's great. It's calming, it's relaxing, it's rewarding. And then other days is a shit show. Thanks again for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for similar content. On Mondays, I post videos about houseplants. And on Fridays, I also post videos about houseplants and reading, writing, photography, art, and any other generic interests of mine. As always, you can find my social media links in the description below. Also, you can find links to H&H Games, the board game company I've helped create, and our debut board game, Season of Heroes. You can also find the Amazon links to my fantasy series, A Chronicle of Crowns. Thanks for watching. Bye!